As I said very recently, those potentially affected by Playfull would not go under that. This has the potential to be a significant distraction from my current role as the National League.
Scotland Yard had to admit that they'd hired the man they arrested to help improve their public relations. It's rather too late for that. Last week, Sir Paul Stevenson went to Downing Street to discuss how to restore the Met's image. He made no mention of the force's relationship with Neil Wallace. When the Prime Minister found out, he was furious. So what has divided David Cameron and the men from the Met is oddly, but also connects them. Both hired former News of the World men to improve their image. David Cameron hiring Andy Coulson, the paper's editor, who resigned after hacking was exposed, whilst insisting he knew nothing about it. Coulson's deputy, Neil Wallace, also insisted he knew nothing about it, and he was hired by John Stevenson. Welcome. Thank you very much. The Prime Minister's on an awkwardly timed trip to South Africa. He's cutting it short to return home to make another statement on hacking, postponing MP's holidays by a day. The Labour leader says he's incapable of giving the leadership that's required.
Sir Paul Stevenson has taken responsibility and resigned over the hiring of Mr Coulson's deputy, when the Prime Minister hasn't even apologised for the hiring of Mr Coulson. We need leadership to get to the truth of what happened. But the Prime Minister is hamstrung by the decisions he made and his refusal to take up.
Speaking before the news of John Yates' resignation, David Cameron insisted there was no
I don't think the two situations are the same in any shape or form. In terms of Andy Coulson, no one has argued that the work he did in government in any way was or bad. He worked well in government, he then left government. There is a contrast, I would say, in the situation at the Metropolitan Police. Clearly, at the Metropolitan Police, the issues have been around whether or not the investigation is being pursued properly. And that is why I think Sir Paul reached a different conclusion.
Tomorrow, the Murdochs, both father and son, face cross-questioning in the Commons. The hacking headlines just keep on coming. Nick Robinson, BBC News, Westminster.
So tonight the Metropolitan Police are dealing with two senior resignations in 2 days. Ours after John Yates quit, the Home Secretary, Theresa May, announced an inquiry into allegations of corruption and nepotism within the police. And there's still the prospect of a criminal investigation into allegations that officers took payment. Parliament of Mark Easton has this assessment of the term.
Force under siege, the media camped outside, senior officers clearing their desks inside. Tonight, the relationship between Scotland Yard and the press has become the central issue of the hacking scandal.
Mrs. Theresa.
In the Commons, the Home Secretary listed the series of inquiries already for alleged failures of the Met, including evidence in the phone hacking inquiry and accusations of officers taking illegal kickbacks.
Inappropriate contractual arrangements and other abuses of power in police relationships with the media and other parties.
Scotland Yard is in the midst of its worst crisis for almost 40 years. Its commissioner gone, one of his deputies too, amid allegations of corruption, cover-up and incompetence. The hacking scandal has engulfed the Met, with implications far beyond this building. Scotland Yard is one of the biggest officers and a budget of £3.6 billion. Not only is 7.4 million people safe in the capital, it has responsibility across England and Wales for counter-terrorism and the protection of the royal family. The departure of Assistant Commissioner John Yates means the man charged with fighting the national terror threat has suddenly gone. Turmoil at the top. As the Met prepares for what is its biggest ever crime operation, policing next year's London Olympics. The organisation is stressing that despite the resignations, it remains in good shape to keep the capital safe and secure. But tonight in the House of Lords, the man who resigned as Commissioner of Scotland Yard in 2008 expressed his concern.
Does the resignation of 2 successive commissioners of the Metropolitan Police in just over 2.5 years indicate that something is gravely wrong with the political oversight and governance of the Metropolitan Police?
The government wants to renegotiate the police threat, building new guidelines, as yet another inquiry considers the technical considerations of the under-prison relationship. Trust is one of the most vital commodities in democracy.
And Mark is with me here. You couldn't have put it more snugly, frankly. I mean, questions keep piling up.
It's hard for anybody to keep track now of all the inquiries and investigations that are underway. Very senior, and you could say now former, Metropolitan Police Officer, the Commissioner who resigned yesterday, Sir Paul Stevenson, Peter Clark, who was head of the counter-terrorism operation 3 years ago, faced people who were he was in charge. Also an investigation looking into those allegations against John and in a new twist this evening, it's revealed that when they looked at the Scotland Yard from the daughter of that friend was new any impropriety. But frankly, Scotland Yard is now in the middle of an interrogation that may last many years. The difference this time is that it's not their officers who are asking the questions.
And later this evening, there's a special edition of Panorama looking at the film scandal. It starts at 8 on BBC One.
Even as British forces continue to fight in Afghanistan, lost review of reserve forces says the UK to make more use of them to man the front lines.
By 2020, if the Territorial Army develops in the way that we intend, we envisage a total force of around 120,000, broadly the ratio of 70% regular to reserve. This will be more in line with countries such as the United States, Canada and Australia.
The idea is to ensure reservists are properly trained and equipped, like 6 rifles we spent last summer training in science. But using reservists more will require reform. It could leave the MOD open to accusations of trying to create an army on retreat.
This is strategic shrinkage by stealth, because today's company army is bigger than the entire current deployment of all UK forces in Afghanistan.
All this will mean more redundancy.